Hi, I'm Andrew. Today I would like to teach you how to use the Rational Zero Theorem to find the real zeros, potential real zeros, of the following function of 2x raised to the fourth minus 3x cubed minus 15x squared plus 32x minus 12. All right, so what in the world is the Rational Zero Theorem? It basically says this, that if you take the factors of your constant term, and you call those factors p, and you take the factors of the leading coefficient, which is the coefficient of the highest power of x, and you call them q, if you take the factors p and divide them by the factors q, you're going to get a list of possible real rational zeros. Okay? So what are the factors? So let's do it. What are the factors of 12? Well, two numbers that multiply to 12 is 1 and 12, or 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. And each one of these factors now will come with a plus minus. Okay, so every time you write out your factors, always write plus minus. Then the factors of your q, which is a 2. I can only think of two whole numbers that multiply to 2. It's 1 and 2. And again, it's plus minus. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your numerator values and divide it by one of your denominator values to get one of the possibilities. So positive 1 over positive or negative 1 divided by positive or negative 1. My goodness, my mind is going numb since I've done like 27 videos on this one topic. Anyway, enough of that. So this is one possibility. Then another possibility is going to be to take this numerator, positive negative 2, divided by that denominator, positive negative 1. That results in a positive negative 2. And then you're going to do the same thing for the 3 over the 1 and the 4 over the 1 and the etc. So you're going to result in all of these possibilities of taking every numerator and dividing it by that single denominator value. And then guess what you got to do? You got to take this value now and put it over this value. And do all the possibilities there. So that's going to be a positive negative 1/2. Then positive or negative 2 over positive negative 2. That's equal to positive negative 1. You already have that listed, so don't list it out. Then you have 3 over 2. You don't have that, so write that on down. Then 4 over 2, right, you already have that. That's a positive negative 2. That's fine. 6 over 2, that's going to be a 3. You already have that one, thank goodness. And 12 over 2 is going to be a 6, and you already have that. Okay, so this is the list. This is the list. Now, contained within this list, you have how many values? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But each one of them is plus and minus, so you really have 16 values. And this is a list of now 16 possible rational real zeros. But the function can only have a maximum of 4 zeros. So what that means is that not every one of these are going to work. And actually, I don't know if any of them are going to work. All right? It's a very frustrating process, but it's a lot of guess and check at this point if you're not allowed to use a calculator. So, I mean, it's cool. The theorem is cool, but it's going to take you 4 hours to do this problem. That's not cool. So the idea now is this. You're going to test one of the values. Take positive 1, for example. So plug in positive 1 everywhere you see x. And the idea now is, and that should be cubed, right? The idea now is when you evaluate this, all right, when you do the math here, if this equals 0, if this is a true statement now, then the value plugged in, meaning 1, is going to be a 0 value of the function. Okay? So this is 2. That's a 3. That's a 15. That's a positive 32. And that's a minus 12. So does this equal 0? Well, do the math, right? I mean, so this is going to be negative. So this is going to work out to be negative 18. Negative 18 then minus a 12 is going to be a negative 30. Oh, but this is then a positive 32, and that's a positive 2, so that's a 34. That's not going to work out. Doesn't equal 0, right? That should equal, I think, plus 4. Hopefully I didn't forget. Does 4 equal 0? Absolutely not. So what that means then is that the value you just tested, positive 1, is not a 0 of the function. So only 15 left. Pull up a chair, my friend. It's going to take a while. No, we're definitely not. Well, pull up a chair. I hope you're not standing and watching this. That'd be a little weird, right? Be a little strange. But what we're going to do now from this point is we're going to use the calculator to help us out. So just plug into y equals this function up here. Okay, go to y equals. So now I want you to type in 2. Let me just go back and get rid of that. Okay, 2x raised to the fourth minus 3x squared no, 3x cubed, sorry, minus 15x squared, plus 32x. For some reason, my brain is freezing, so I'm going to go back and double check, make sure I did everything right. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. That's great. All right, now hit graph. And here's now the function. Okay? So now what we're going to see is we want to see the values, right? So remember, in a graphical sense, the zeros of the function are going to be the locations where the graph either intersects or touches that x-axis. So it seems to me like it's -1, negative. Each of those tick marks represents 1, and since I'm going to the left, it's negative, right? So this is a -3. So x is equal to then -3. Now that's rough. I mean, I'm estimating. It might. How do I know it's not negative 2.9999987654321? I don't, just by looking at it. But I'm going to assume it's 3, and then I'm going to check it. Okay. And this value looks to me like it's probably about a positive 1/2. All right, positive 1/2. And this value then over here looks to be about a positive 2. So let's check that out. Positive 2. Okay? So now, are these values listed in this, list of values? Yeah, they all are. Now that so happened to work out that way. So this is a -3 and the -3 is here. This is a positive 1/2, that's here, and this is a positive 2 and that's over here. So that's fine. Now I said that there could be a maximum of 4, right? But since the graph, as we saw over here, since it just touches that, we really have 2 factors there. It's really going to be, if we had to think about a factor, it would be x minus 2 squared, okay, if we had to factor this thing, right? And then we would also have another factor of x minus 1/2, and we have then a factor of x plus 3. Okay, so if you did this on out, you'd result with this polynomial. All right, but the zeros then are just the values after you set those factors equal to 0 and solve. All right, now what I'm going to do then, and this is the whole idea, is that imagine we just, plugged in -3. I chose that as my first value, which I had a chance of 1/16 to do that. Then we should note that if I plug in a -3 here for x, this whole thing should equal 0. Let's double check. So go 2, open your parentheses, then type in -3, close them, and raise it to the 4th. Please, every time you plug in an x value, use parentheses. Then -3, open parentheses, then -3 cubed. Then you're going to do -15, open parentheses, -3 squared. Then you can do plus 32, open the parentheses, -3, close them, and then you're going to do -12. Hopefully I plugged everything in right, and boom, it equals 0. What that tells me then is that whatever number I plugged in here for x, which was -3, as you can see, is a 0 of the function. All the real zeros, and that's a real 0, by the way, because it's a real number. So, and all the real zeros are going to be the values where it crosses that x-axis. All right, so you kind of have a way to check yourself. If you'd like to use the graphical function on the calculator. All right. And yeah. Oh, another way to do it is kind of cool, right? Go to Second Calc and type in the value of 2, right? Or go to your 0. Now, what your calculator can do here, go to left. So let's say I want to find this value here. What is that? Where did it intersect? What's the 0 button? You got to move your cursor to the left of the 0 mark. So make sure that is left of -3, which would be -3.18. That's fine. Hit enter. Then go to the right of 3, so somewhere of -3, that is, so somewhere there. And then you're going to guess, right? Maybe it's around this point, -3. Hit enter, and notice the calculator calculated it for you. It's -3, right? That's another way to do it. Now, y here, again, this is basically 0. But sometimes the calculator, it might not be able to find like the exact, but this is essentially 0, okay? That's it. Hopefully this helps, ladies and gentlemen. If it does, like, subscribe, maybe even tell some of your classmates. We appreciate your support so very much, and it means all the difference. It gives us the support and the motivation to continue. All right, we have thousands of videos out there, so imagine with even more support, what more we can do for you guys. Now we have math and physics and chemistry out there. All right, high school, college. We got thousands of solved solutions, and we got more coming. Check out our channel. We'd love to help you. And if you're ever in the need of private tutoring, go to our website. We'll see you soon.